If it wasn't for corporate control of our government and the resulting trickle-down economics, ordinary workers today could support their families with one job, working 2 days a week. Would you like to have a 5-day weekend every week? If worker pay had kept up with executive pay, ordinary workers would be making $1 million a year. And the minimum wage would be $171 an hour. What do you call a country in which the gap between the rich and the poor is growing beyond bounds, whose principal exports are wood pulp and scrap metal, whose principal imports are manufactured goods, and whose fastest growing industry is the construction and operation of private prisons? I think you could call it a third world country. That is the State of the Union we have inherited. In our government's drive to protect the far-flung financial interests of multinational corporations, we have abandoned our principles and fought wars of aggression against small countries. We have overthrown popularly elected leaders and installed puppet dictators who sell out their own people to our corporations. In our drive toward a corporate New World Order, we have sold out our families, our workers, our environment, our children's futures, and the American dream. This, too, is the State of the Union we have inherited. Now, we've had the opportunity to create a land without want. What went wrong? Why are our workers paid such a tiny percentage of their true worth? Why are we the only major nation without a national health program? Why are our high school graduates 2 years behind their counterparts in other countries? Why are we hated by so many around the world? Why do we have hundreds of thousands of troops patrolling foreign lands and supporting foreign dictators? What's going on? Well, the answer, I'm afraid, is that we have lost our republic. Legislators no longer represent the people who elect them, but the corporations who finance them. They answer not to their constituents, but to the lobbyists who line their pockets and fill their campaign coffers. For years now, through both major political parties, the world's billionaires have directed U.S. policy for their own personal profit. This has included agreements like NAFTA, CAFTA, the World Trade Organization, falsely portrayed as supporting free trade, but in reality promoting free investment, overturning U.S. laws and putting American workers in competition with those in the third world. NAFTA, for example, has destroyed the standard of living and the quality of life on both sides of the Rio Grande, and by driving Mexican farmers off the land, is largely responsible for the flood of illegal immigrants into our country. Corporate control of our government has also resulted in a series of wars, from Iraq to Bosnia to Kosovo to Afghanistan to Iraq again. Wars which are never in the interest of those fighting them or of the families left behind. Wars which only serve the insatiable greed of the global investor class. Corporate power over our political system, over the media, and over most aspects of our lives is the greatest danger we face today. Those of us who dedicate our lives to peace, economic justice, and environmental preservation can make little progress in our struggles so long as ultimate power is in the hands of those who profit from war, poverty, and pollution. Well, I didn't get here tonight by taking corporate millions. I didn't get here by selling myself to the oil companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies. To be quite honest, I'm not sure how I got here. But here I am. And as long as I am President of the United States, this government will serve the needs of the people, not the greeds of the wealthy elite. Now, turning things around won't be easy. What our Constitution empowers me to change, I shall. But for much of what needs doing, I will need the cooperation of you in Congress, and I ask for it tonight. See, the Constitution does not make me the decider. Only the proposer and the implementer. You, the people's representatives, are the deciders. I have therefore vacated all the over 800 signing statements imposed by my predecessor. I'm revoking Presidential Directives 20 and 51, which give me dictatorial powers. I ask for repeal of the misnamed Patriot Act and all the martial law and special and dictatorial acts passed in the last 7 years. This is not a monarchy. But I warn you, members of Congress, if you continue to violate your constitutional responsibility to serve your constituents, and instead serve only yourselves and the big money interests you are indebted to, if you continue to ignore the Constitution and attempt to protect the crooked, corporate-dominated status quo, I will go over your heads to the American people and ask them to retire all of you, regardless of party. Now, we must sever the connection between big money and political power. This means electoral reform and media reform. Now, the latter can be done now. I have ordered the Federal Communications Commission to reinstate the fairness doctrine and equal time rules, and to re-implement the ban on multiple ownership. A free press is incompatible with corporate monopoly domination of the media. Now, electoral reform is a little more complicated. The immediate need is for paper ballots. We also need instant runoff voting, proportional representation, the elimination of burdensome petition requirements for qualifying third-party and independent candidates, making Election Day a federal holiday so working people can actually vote, and true campaign finance reform. Once we succeed in separating big money and political power, everything becomes possible. In this richest of nations, we can and we will guarantee every American access to a good education, a decent job at a living wage, health care,